Hello and welcome to another episode of Part in the Dust, Dusting Off Construction with Caitlin and Jillian. We're your hosts, Caitlin and Jillian. This is actually a part two episode of our previous episode with Khaled Elshimy from RFID Canada. So yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it and let you guys listen to the other half of the episode here. Alrighty.
Yeah, that's great. So obviously, we're excited about the precast industry and bringing your partnership over to the precast industry. But are there any other market segments in particular that you're excited about exploring? Obviously, you don't have to name names, but any recent or upcoming projects or recent projects that have been really exciting for you all.
So yeah, we do have a lot of recent projects. I think, as I mentioned, we work with manufacturing, supply chain, logistics, automotive, mining, energy, transit. Transit is one of our key industries that we work with. Aerospace, retail, healthcare, education, libraries, lumber, pharma, livestock, hospitality. So we we are quite busy, but I think recently we deployed a couple of projects. One of them is in healthcare. So it's covering an entire hospital, 730,000 square feet, with
Wow.
RFID, UHF RFID, and it's for assets and consumables tracking using 610 or 608 antennas. And this is actually applying kind of geofencing, inventory management, so they can locate any assets and they can know exactly where the assets are distributed in their facility. And we got this integration with their ERP system for accounting and assets management and biomedical engineering team. So it was a very interesting project. Another one in manufacturing plant here in Toronto, and it's a pretty challenging environment because it's aluminum windows and doors manufacturing plant.
Mm.
And one of the key challenges for any wireless technology is metallic environment. And this plant is all about metal. And yeah, we got the system integrated all the way from the CNC machines when they cut the aluminum bars and across the production line. So now they have full visibility on the production performance, the KPIs, inspection, if they take off any product off the line, and put it in an on-hold area. They have full visibility when they take it to the warehouse. When they load it on a trailer, they can see if the right product is going into the right trailer. And if not, immediate alert is provided to shippers. And even on the, like for the on-site deliveries, they can validate exactly what's offloaded at job site. They can search for a specific item in a yard, even in winter when everything is covered with snow. So it's a pretty comprehensive solution.
And I know that a lot of the applications you just mentioned are also very relevant for precast, such as loading trucks, finding things in the yard. What other kinds of RFID benefits do you see coming to the precast industry, particularly with our partnership that we have?
I think it's always um I think it's gonna keep evolving like that. As you mentioned, that the key applications that we touched on, they are the like loading, flatbeds, identifying precast at the end or the finish line of the production, yard management, localization within the yard, verifying shipped items from the yard, locating items within the yard, but also this can extend to not only the product or the precast identification. This can also be leveraged for example, fleet management. So now they manage and have visibility on their trucks and flatbeds and their equipment and their facility, assets management, tools management. So there is a lot of I think opportunities in precast industry, and I think it's always going to be like analyzing any business challenge, and if there is a potential solution using auto identification technology, this is how we always start working with our partners and end users, is to analyze the business challenge, understand the key pain point and the environment or the process. Because I think with our model, working with our business partners and end users, we are very process driven. So it has to be all about the process, to streamline the process and the workflow using the technology to achieve the requirement of this application. So I think in many occasions we get a kind of request, and it's not a common application or not a common use case, but once we start analyzing this, we can customize a solution for this unique challenge. And I think in many situations, this was very helpful for a lot of partners and customers.
Mm-hmm. And then I have another quick question. I mean, I don't know if it's quick, but it's a question. You were mentioning, back with even like the metal manufacturer, how there's some drawbacks of the difficulties of having that technology in a warehouse and manufacturing site like that. Are there any additional drawbacks that you can see for the precast industry using RFID? Of course, we have some similar barrier difficulties, but is there anything else you can think of?
So as any wireless technology, there is key factors that can impact the performance of the system. And this is always taken care of during the analysis of the solution. And this, it can be from metallic environment, from high power, or it can be in robotics around, or can be liquids, and it can be humidity, can be temperature. So that's actually what we do during the design analysis and putting together the design, is to select the right components that can work in this environment, in this application. So each and every application and deployment is unique, even if it's for the same customer. Like deploying this in facility A doesn't mean that it's going to be copy and paste for facility B. So this is where our team gets involved and work on the system design and select the right system components. But I can't say that it's only limited to the precast industry or automotive or anything, because these challenges are always going to be everywhere, and we have always to consider these in our system design to ensure that we put together a stable, consistent system design for the application.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's looking at me like it's my turn. So you mentioned some limitations of RFID, and I know that a lot of our customers are particularly worried about the weather. So obviously you said picking the right equipment is important. Should any of our customers who might be interested in fixed gates or RFID readers on forklifts, should they be worried that it's too cold or too humid for them, or do you have a solution for them as well?
We do. That's actually what we do investigate, or what we consider during the system design, because there are equipment in our portfolio that can work in extreme conditions. Like, for example, just to give you an example of, we are working with a customer that they need to have auto identification system in environment. It's they are in healthcare, and there is a specific application in a specific environment that the tag needs to withstand temperature as low as negative 180 C.
That's pretty
Um,
low.
yeah, so we have to, like, we have to select the right tag that can withstand this temperature. And for sure, this tag is more expensive than other tags or standard tags that can withstand the usual temperature range, which is as low as negative 40. So that's actually, like, our system design is not only about the technical aspect, but also about the feasibility of the solution. So we don't really want to pick or select system components that can be kind of an overkill for an application or doesn't make it feasible. And on the other extreme, we do have customers in automotive that they apply tags on, like, for example, paint tracks that they go through extreme temperature up to 300 degrees. So it's all about where the application gonna be deployed. For sure, in this kind of extreme environment, we don't expect any readings to be happening within this extreme temperature, but the tag need to withstand this. So, and this is also part of our system analysis and system design, is to really identify the reading points, that choke points where the items can go through to be detected, and for the system to identify that there is a transition for this specific product going from zone A to zone B, for example.
Right.
So in precast industry, I think from your perspective, I think that's not a problem. We do have a lot of applications, even like just to give an example, in waste management. So we do apply tags on industrial garbage bins and even residential garbage bins, where waste trucks carry RFID readers, and they identify the bins at the time of collection. And these tags applied on bins, they are exposed to weather conditions, impact, in some situations, harsh cleaning procedures. So it's yeah, like any application, there is a solution, but it needs to be considered from cost and technical perspective.
Great, thank you. So
now we're both going at the same time. I'll go. So, with that, it does sound like there's a lot of like fun, creative. I feel like it's a creative time to be just solving all these problems and really considering so many factors and coming up with the best solution, which is I personally find would be extremely fun because I like finding solutions to challenging problems. So, what would you say was one of like the most challenging problems that you guys had to create a solution for?
Yeah, there are a lot. As you
I'm
mentioned,
sure.
it's like we never get bored. Like every day we are really tackling a new challenge and a new
Yeah.
use case, even if it's for the same application, but each application or each opportunity is unique from a way or another. So I think one of the key challenges that I experienced in one of the projects, that we were trying to get we were working with rugs manufacturer, and they manufactured 25 million rugs a year, and they have a very fast paced process in their
Yeah.
facility. And they are huge, and they were very interested in deploying the technology with the minimal changes in their infrastructure and in their processes. And their process was, at the end of the line, they have a kind of cage that needs to be towed with a vehicle or like a forklift. And this cage is metal. It's not fully closed. It's still like with bars. And they load this cage with, or cart with not around 900 rugs. And they just need to get these rugs all together scanned while this forklift is moving through a checkpoint, and it's just like a couple of seconds where we can get this cart in the range of the reader. And we worked on some creative solutions there until we achieved 100% accuracy,
Nice.
given that it's still within the same carts that they are using, which is not very RF friendly.
Yeah.
But I think this was one of the challenges that took a lot of time to be addressed.
That sounds really cool though that you got to the 100% accuracy.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
neat.
yeah.
So in that case, since your inception, or I guess since you've started at RFID Canada, what would you say has been your favorite project to work on? I mean, it may have been that one, but
Yeah, this was I think uh, all of them they are really good, but one of them is the that really outstands is we worked with a kitchen cabinets manufacturer,
Mhm.
and they manufacture uh, their kitchen cabinets here locally in their manufacturing facility, and also they import some parts from their facilities or their suppliers overseas, and they have huge warehouse facility, and they need to have inventory visibility and to easily conduct cycle counts in their facility. And this was a couple of years ago when we worked with them to try to make this seamless enough and cost efficient enough to be deployed, right?
Mhm.
Some thoughts were about having drones with readers and robots and all that stuff. Their racking system is huge, is like uh, 25 feet high, and they have huge facilities. So having a bot running on the floor doesn't help because they still have a lot of high
Yep.
uh, racks or bins. And drones was not an off-shelf solution at that time with RFID capability, I mean. So when we visited their facility and we did the site survey, we found that they have already order pickers. So these order pickers, which is like a vehicle with this bucket that goes up and down. So we said, okay, let's utilize these order pickers. And we mounted the RFID fixed RFID readers on these order pickers. And all the time when these machines are running on the floor, they are reading everything around, and we have location tags on specific spots within their facility. So when the order picker is running around and it's reading all the products and at the same time is reading the location tags, which identify the zone where this product is located in. And it was a very cost-efficient solution, and we deployed it, which is kind of the same solution that we are working with Identity on, having the fixed readers on the forklifts to do a cycle count for the yard.
Hmm.
I feel like that project is so different than the other one that you had described for us. And obviously Identia kind of falls in the middle and kind of falls on a third spectrum, if you will. So
Yes.
I would say that you've probably learned a lot. I feel like that's a safe assumption to make. What kinds of things have you learned since you started back in 2020? What are some of your key takeaways?
Uh, I think one of the key takeaways for me is that, as I mentioned, each site, each application, each environment is unique. Um, it's never going to be like there's a big part of it as off-shelf components, but putting together these components and make it work uh, in a stable, consistent way in specific environment and a specific application, it's always going to be unique and dynamic. And um, this what our team is always um, working on to make sure that each deployment is all the items and all the factors that may impact the performance during operation is addressed in the design phase, um, because it's too many factors working together. And that's with RFID, it's not barcode. So
Right.
like always people when they think about RFID and they think that it's the next generation of barcode, that might be true in specific areas, but from deployment perspective, it's totally different. It needs a lot of attention to details
Hmm.
and considering all the factors from RF perspective, from environment perspective, and from system components perspective, and the integration of the components together to make this all like this comprehensive solution working harmoniously together.
That's great. That sounds like you have a lot of thinking on your feet in your future, for all of your projects. So obviously you are working to bring RFID to the next level and incorporating these technologies like BLE. What do you think it'll take to continue to build on this momentum?
I think as I mentioned, we are uh, always trying to work closely hand in hand with our partners to get involved in very specific applications and business challenges in various industries. So this is helping us a lot to acquire uh, bigger market share every day and working closer to manufacturing partners that we are working with them because also the way how manufacturing partners working with us or like in the market, um, it's very rare that we can see a manufacturing partner or a manufacturer providing a whole solution. It's always going to be a component, either it's an antenna, fixed reader, or a bunch of fixed readers. Some of them can be only HF or UHF, but handhelds. So eventually, we take this role to work with these manufacturers to make sure that everything works together, and we are always keeping an eye on what's next and the gaps in the in whatever products are available in the market. And we work with our manufacturers to address these gaps and to try to get solutions from system components perspective in order to be incorporated in system designs and to keep growing the number of deployments that we are working on with our partners in different verticals. So I think we have been very successful in achieving this, expanding our portfolio and product lines, and we are growing with our partners. So yeah.
That's great. Well, I know that we at Identia are very excited about our partnership, and you've definitely taken a lot of the guesswork out of the projects that we're looking forward to working on together. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So we're about to wrap up here, but do you have any final remarks or anything that we haven't touched upon that you'd like to mention to everyone?
If anything that I just want to wrap up with here is we maybe in the previous few years we experienced some customers or partners reaching out to us with negative experience about the RFID technology. As I mentioned, it's as any technology, as any technical thing, it needs specific expertise to be deployed seamlessly and correctly. So sometimes trying to self-explore things can be challenging and may lead to negative experience. But for sure, as we can see, it's a well-proven and well-established technology with a lot of success stories and very high ROI on global level. So just make sure that you partner with the right team to help drive the whole system deployment or the whole system infrastructure, not a specific component, because in many occasions we see that some deployments are not performing as expected, although that they have very good system components, but they don't have the synergy between these system components. So eventually the overall system performance is not as expected. So yeah, the system design and the system deployment is the key elements to deliver a successful technology solution using auto identification technologies.
Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, well, again, thank you again for being here today and talking with us about RFID Canada and RFID technology and all the fun things that we chatted about today. So thank you again. And for everybody who's listening today, you can find our next episode wherever you prefer to listen to your podcasts. And of course, be sure to follow us on social media, as well for Part in the Dust, as well as our Identia channels. So we'll have announcements for our next episode moving forward soon. I think actually we're recording today, but today's actually also the day that we're going to release our first couple of podcasts. That's just, I mean, it'll already be released by the time you hear this, but we hope that you've listened to it, and we're excited to have you listen to this one as well. So thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.